Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubrali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Condo rents reach new record high in Toronto despite weakening housing market. Man rushed to the hospital after being struck in the head with wine bottle in Christie Pitts. Cuba proposes to pay $1,337 for AR-15 under mandatory firearms buyback program. Project tracking COVID-19 in Canadian long-term care paused due to lack of data. Service Ontario employees among 28 people charged after police bust major auto theft organizations. COVID-19 vaccine bookings for babies and toddlers set to open in Ontario. Release video of suspect in one nightclub shooting that left 2 security guards dead. Woman dies in hospital after assault in Scarborough.
Those were the headlines, and let's jump right into the details.
York Regional Police have released surveillance video of a suspect wanted in connection with a shooting at a nightclub in Vaughan last weekend that left 2 security guards dead. The video was obtained from ATL Lounge, where police found 3 people suffering from gunshot wounds on the early morning of July 23rd. Police believe an altercation that occurred in the lounge led to the shooting. 2 of the victims, 25-year-old Toronto resident and 22-year-old Mississauga resident, were pronounced dead at the scene. Police said the 2 men were working as security guards at the establishment located near Highway 7 and Keele Street. A third victim, a 20-year-old female patron, was taken to the hospital where she is in stable condition. A man has been seriously injured after being struck in the head with a wine bottle during an altercation in the city's Christie Pitts neighborhood on Wednesday evening. Police say it happened in the area of Bloor Street West and Carling Avenue, east of Ossington Avenue, around 8:30 p.m. It involved 2 individuals that we believe that they are known to each other and a fight occurred, said Duty Inspector Jeff Bengold. The victim was struck over the head with a wine bottle. That injury caused a significant amount of blood loss. The victim was rushed to the hospital in life-threatening condition, Bengold said. Officers are searching the area for the suspect and canvassing the neighborhood for information. No description has been released. Ontario parents can book COVID-19 vaccine appointments for their babies and preschoolers starting later this morning. The province's booking portal will open for pediatric vaccine appointments for children aged 6 months to under 5 years at 8 a.m. Families can also make appointments through health units using their own booking systems, as well as some primary care providers and pharmacies. Toronto Public Health says it expects to start administering shots to babies and toddlers today, and some pharmacies are also in position to start vaccinating. Health Canada approved Moderna's pediatric shot this month, and Ontario's health minister says the vaccine is safe, effective, and will help protect children from the virus. More than 200 stolen cars have been recovered and 28 people have been charged, including an unspecified number of Service Ontario employees, in connection with the dismantling of 3 auto theft-based criminal organizations that operated out of Ontario and Saskatchewan, police say. Police say the thefts occurred mainly in Ontario. As a result of the investigation, police said they recovered 215 vehicles they say are worth more than $12 million. According to investigators, about 37% of vehicles recovered were Acuras or Hondas. In total, police said 28 people were charged, including employees with Service Ontario. In total, just over 240 charges were laid. The offenses vary and include using a forged document, trafficking in property obtained by crime, fraud over $5,000, possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose, and breach of trust. As the housing market continues to show signs of weakening, the cost of rent in Toronto is on the rise. New data released by the Toronto Region Real Estate Board for the second quarter of 2022 shows that the average rent charged for 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom condominiums has now reached a new record high after plunging earlier in the COVID-19 pandemic. The average 1-bedroom rent was up 20.2% year over year to $2,269 per month, while the average 2-bedroom rent was up 15.3% to $2,979. The average cost of a home in the GTA has now fallen for 4 consecutive months, and at least one major bank is warning of a historic housing correction that could ultimately see prices drop by as much as 14% from peak to trough. The pace of growth has, however, begun to slow amid an aggressive campaign by the Bank of Canada to raise interest rates. Prices were up more than 16% year over year in the first quarter. Toronto police are investigating homicide after a woman died following an assault in Scarborough early Thursday morning. Shortly before 5:30 a.m., police responded to reports of an assault at a residence in the area of Victoria Park Avenue and Downside Drive. A woman in her 40s was transported to hospital in life-threatening condition. Shortly after, she succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced deceased in the hospital, police said. A man in his 30s was arrested at the scene according to police. Further details about the incident have not yet been released. Think tank that's been compiling data on COVID-19 in Canadian long-term care homes says it has to stop its work because provinces are no longer making enough information public about the spread of the virus in the sector. The project run by the National Institute on Aging based on Toronto Metropolitan University launched in April 2020 and presents information about cases, outbreaks, and deaths at long-term care homes in the form of a map with a summary for each province and territory. It has provided data to organizations including the Public Health Agency of Canada and the Canadian Institute for Health Information and has contributed to national and international research on COVID-19 in a sector that's seen a large portion of Canada's deaths due to the virus. But provinces have been sharing less data on outbreaks and cases since the start of this year, and information is being made publicly available with far less frequency than in the past. The situation has been reached a point where it's now too difficult to keep the think tank's project alive, said Dr. Samir Sinha, Director of Health Policy Research at the Institute. The federal government is proposing $1,337 in compensation for turning in an AR-15 rifle under a mandatory buyback program. Public Safety Canada has released a price list detailing how much money owners of banned firearms can expect to get under the program. Ottawa will seek input from gun owners, businesses, and industry on the proposed compensation amount from now until August 28. The mandatory buyback program would cover more than 1,500 models and variants of what the government considers assault-style firearms banned 2 years ago. A separate compensation model for businesses that participate in the buyback program is being developed. The compensation models and other program details will be finalized in the coming months, and all known firearm owners will be contacted about how they can participate in the buyback program, the government said.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.